Good morning, guys and gals. This is DJ Wolf. Of course, the podcast is DJ Wolf Live. And, of course, also, this is on For All to Hear TV on YouTube. I can also be followed For All to Hear TV on Twitter. Let's get started. Today is a day that I look forward to for one main reason. Let me go ahead and start with the story. I was in the military during the better part of the late 80s, mid-late 80s, right? And as I was starting out my career skill in the military, trying to horn in on what eventually became my job career, during my downtime, I was actually at the PX commissary, and I was looking for some tapes. I wanted to buy some, latest and greatest tapes. Somebody was telling me about this actor. These two guys, young guys, probably a few years younger than me, and they were getting real popular. It wasn't the usual run-of-the-mill hip hop. And because hip hop at the time was starting to get that gangster vibe to it slowly. Also at the time, another act from the West Coast gaining ground with the mixtapes, and one of the mixtape came out called No Pain. Another buddy of mine told me about that one. I actually had that one. Of course, the group was NWA. And that mixtape at the time, this was like probably about 86, 87, that mixtape was red hot. Trust me, I play in my car all the time. Anyway, but enough of that. But I was back to me being overseas at the time. But I was still doing duty there, but I was at home at the time, furlough. Anyway, so I was back in Germany when I was in the military, and I played this tape. It sounded pretty dope. It really did for the time. And they were doing skits and stuff, and I was like, wow. And I was listening to it, and I was like, wow, this is really entertaining. And it was. And of course, the tapes was two. I bought the first tape, and then I turned around and bought the second one. I didn't even know he had the first one out. And then I bought, to make a long story short, it turned out to be DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. And at the time, a staple became one of my favorite acts. It was the late 80s. And turned out, it made Fresh Prince, a.k.a. Will Smith, a superstar. Overnight. And ever since then, I've been riding with him for a long time. I watched many of his movies. I know some people paying some of his movies. I ain't gonna lie, I like his movies. A lot of his movies, matter of fact. And I think the further he got into his acting career, the better his movies got. To tell you the truth. But at the time when I heard his tapes, his albums, his first two albums, I told people, I said, that guy going places. I said it right off the bat. I said, he is definitely going to go places. Because I didn't hear anything like that before. And I could tell this guy was trying to do something more than just rap. I could tell that clearly. This is a guy who wanted to make a name for himself in the business, and you could hear it in the albums. Well, and he's been through a lot of ups and downs. And he was married one time when he was on The Fresh Prince, got divorced, and then turned around. 2 years later, married actress Jayla Pinker, who also had a budding career at the time. So they started out pretty young. They've been together 24 years. And, of course, a lot of stuff has been going on between them in the last 2-3 years. It's been real public. They admitted they were swingers. She had an entanglement with a fellow singer. Will admit to having extramarital affairs, It's crazy, man. And now today is the day of the release of his book. So I'm waiting with bated breath. Well, not really. I am anticipating his book today. My son actually got the Kindle version last night. I think I actually have a copy too, because I have a thing called Kindle Unlimited. But I'm going to double check that when I get home. But not that it ain't going to matter, because I had the book by now. I'm so excited about it, because a lot of stuff about Will you really don't know, and even he admitted that. He kept a lot of his personal struggles out the public eye for decades, But the past 2 years, is, as far as his marriage has been out, it's been pretty much out in the open. And you had people out there was trying to bash Will, and I'm like, why are we bashing Will? Jada was the one that came up and said he couldn't do it right and all this other stuff. And I thought that was a slap in his face, to tell you the truth. I really do. This guy was the breadwinner in his family. This is a guy who's like like among the biggest top draws in Hollywood, period. A major A-lister. And you want to disrespect that man like that? I have a problem with it personally. This is the guy who, this is the guy who did the damn thing from day one. From day one. Day one. Day one did the damn thing. It's crazy. Literally did the damn thing from day one. And people just did, shit on him. But the one person I didn't think was shit on, the one that was closest to him, and that's his one long-time wife, actress, Jayla Pinker. I didn't think that she would do that, man, like that, man. But Will shouldn't act too surprised about this stuff, because, to be honest, as much as I love and respect this guy, and I do, with the utmost of respect and love and admiration for this guy, I really do. He kind of put it out there on his own. He brought it on himself, on some respect. He did. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. You don't let your marriage get to a point where you can just be free willing. Now, my wife, I'm not gonna lie, my own marriage, we've been married this year, coming up in next month, 30 years. That's a long time. So I've been married 6 years longer than him. And I laid a few ground rules. One of them was I didn't want to live nowhere near my in-laws. They live in one state, we live in another state. But they're neighboring states though, and it doesn't take long to get to visit. So we just cross the bridge and be right there. Because I knew what kind of possible drama would entangle with that. That's why I was like, no, not dealing with it. And that's the best move I think personally I made. And I told her that early on. I said, we're not doing this. She wanted to live out there near them, and I told her no go. And this is before we got married. This is before we got married. And I said, that's a no-go. Oh, my God. That's a no-go, my friend. I said, nope, not happening. Not at all. Because she wanted to do it. I said, nope. And I said that, you got to talk about some ground rules in the marriage, man. You have to have ground rules in the marriage. Otherwise, your marriage is going to go south. Problem with him, he wanted to allow her to have so much freedom to a point where it wasn't even about marriage anymore. I understood where he was coming from. You want to be able to kind of break the tradition of what a regular marriage was, and they didn't want it to be mundane. They wanted to have excitement with it. I understand that. I get that. I really do. One of the things my wife and I do, usually we take a trip every year, go somewhere, man. Just me and her. and do things. We're talking about doing something, big things for her birthday next year. She wants something she wants to do, and I'm going to look into it. I don't know about flying all them hours out there, but I'm going to look into it. And she wanted to go someplace around the world, but I was like, man, I just hate flying. Personally, I really do hate flying. And I was like, oh God. I really do hate flying. That's why I hate flying. I absolutely hate flying. But that's another whole story. And I just happened to bring it up and said, oh shit, why did I bring it up? Now she wants to do it. But will allow his old lady to do the things she did. He also admitted that he actually had extramarital affairs. But him and Jada is not the reason I'm getting the book. I'm getting the book to learn about Will. Jada want to do a book on her own. She want people to know about her. She should write her own book. And not that I don't like her. I love her. I love Mrs. Jada. I think she's a very demure-looking, very attractive, beautiful woman. Still do even with her hair cut off, but I that kind of was a bit of a turn-off to me because, man, she already had short hair. Why do you need to cut it off? Nevertheless, Will Smith actually is starting a book tour coming up shortly after the book is, I think, within the next week or two. I think he's going to be in New York, London, Los Angeles. I thought he mentioned Dallas. I was hoping he'd come out here to the DMV because I would definitely go. There's no doubt I'd be there. If I'd stay there all day, I'd be there because I'm a huge Will Smith fan. I've been a fan of his since younger generation of fans were in diapers before they even thought about it. I was down with him from day one. So, and the thing of it is, though, I'm glad he's coming out with a book to get things off his chest. It was long overdue for him. I just got finished watching the two segments of his thing about from his YouTube channel about getting in the best shape of his life. It was actually pretty good and somewhat telling about it. And he talked briefly about his father in the second episode. And I think the third one he's going to reveal about, how him and his father clashed. That's supposed to be in the book too. I'm amped to read it because I've been through the same situation. He comes from a dysfunctional family, at least according to what I read and what I was told. And I kind of share a slight sentiment with that. He resented his father for certain things, and I did with mine. So I identify with that clearly. His father was very strong-willed, so was mine. He talked about things he was afraid of in his childhood, and I can identify with some of that. I'm honest, and that's why I can identify with the issues he's going through. But some people, they say, well, he weak. I say, you know what? If Will was a weak-minded person, Will wouldn't be making $20 million a fucking picture. So you can cancel that bullshit about him being weak. His weakness was his relationship with Jada. Okay? So he did this thing in Hollywood. He conquered Hollywood. He conquered something in Hollywood that most rappers would have never done. But he did. He was the first rapper to win an Emmy. Actually he did. Did he win an Emmy? Well, his series did win an Emmy. I remember that. But he was the first rapper to win an Emmy. He was the first rapper to win a Grammy. And I'm going to tell you the truth. He really should have won an Oscar for The Pursuit of Happiness. Will Smith, as far as I'm concerned, is the GOAT anyway. He's definitely one of the GOATs. There's no doubt about that. Even if he never done a play. But just the fact that he's won a Grammy and an Emmy, okay? I don't know if any rappers have done both. And he was the first to do both. It speaks for itself. He was the first to do both. Okay? He's had a successful recording career, has a successful television career, has a successful movie career. And y'all want to call this guy weak. Fuck out of here. that to me makes no sense to me. All right. Now he's got a biography about his life, which I am amped to read. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to read it. I cannot wait to read it. And what they say is a series of memoirs, but to me it's like a biography. It's almost the same, but I'm waiting to read it. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait. I'm a longtime Will Smith fan. I think it's a little overdue, but it's at the right time. It's at the right time where he could sit back and say, hey, this is what's going on, blah, 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 and did it, And he still make great films. He still makes great films. Now, not every single movie he did was a success in Hollywood or a success in the eyes of the critics, but the fans love it. You don't work for the critics anyway. You work for the fans. The fans is what generate in your income. And I think personally that I just respect him. I respect his work. I respect his work ethic. You don't get into Hollywood by and especially as successful as he is, because what he does is show on film. Okay, that's the work. They can dress you up, they can make you look good, they can make you do this, do that, and the other. But unless you got that it factor and appeal that draws fans to you, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. But that's what makes him a success. I think The Pursuit of Happiness is a prime example of why I like him as an actor. For real. Why I've always liked him as an actor. Because he keeps it 100 on film. You can see that. His emotions raw on film, man. You can feel it. And I always did say that he was robbed of that Oscar. That was an Oscar he should have got. I don't care what nobody say. If it didn't get best film, he definitely should have got best actor. No question about that. I thought he was brilliant in Ali. He was good in that too. He got gypped on that too. And I like to find out what really happened, because I remember when Will found out he didn't get the nod for Ali. And he said, well, we got to go home and take care of our baby. And I knew that was a lie. I bet you he'll put that in the book. I got a feeling he's going to put that in the book and tell you what really happened. And I think what really happened was he was upset. I'm very sure of that. I'm very sure that he was really downright angry as fuck. Because the two films he should have gotten Oscars for was definitely Pursuit of Happiness, Ali. Definitely Pursuit of Happiness. That's the one movie I could honestly say where he spilled his guts on the screen. No doubt. He did. One of the greatest robberies in Hollywood history was him not getting that win. That's what makes him such a likable person on and off screen, because the way he presents himself into his characters in the movie, he really does immerse himself. And like I said, he immersed himself into that one so point and so well that he makes you want to root for his character. It makes you want to really be there for that character. And that particular movie, that's how it was. And I was like, wow. And this was based on a true story. But I can say this day, I'll never understand why he never got the nod. Why he got the Academy Award. Now he was nominated. He was also nominated for Ali. But I still think that he was robbed of that. Now, on a side note, Halle Berry, my homegirl from Cleveland, she got Oscar for Monsters Ball. A film I don't even think was even her best film. The best film that she did was what was that movie about her son being a doctor that she threw in the trash? Rumor has it that movie was loosely based on Tommy Davis's story. I forgot the name of the movie. It was a good film. Personally, I think that was her best film. I can't think of the name of it to save my life, but it was such a good film. I saw that at the theater. But that's a film I know for a fact she should have got Oscar for. I always said that. That's like Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington got an Oscar for Training Day. Alright? Not that Training Day was a bad film. Training Day is one of my favorite films, matter of fact, by him. But the one that he did later on about that was also based on a true story about a man who actually was taken to the hospital by hostage because his son was dying from an illness. I forgot what it was about, but anyway, that's a movie that he really should have gotten an Oscar for. That and keep forgetting these movies that he did. But there's about two or three films that he should have got an Oscar for. You know. But they gave it to him for Training Day. I'm still like, really? That's another whole story. Glory was the other one. You know. And the one he did about the boxer. 3 films that I know he should get Oscar for. Right out the bat. You know. But nevertheless, like I said, Will Smith actually is an Oscar-worthy actor. He was nominated for 2 Oscars. You know, Pursuit of Happiness and Ali. But he's due an Oscar. There's no doubt, but he is due for it. You know, this guy has no question of the GOAT. And if there was ever anybody going to buy a book about it, I don't buy books to read like I used to. I bought them on Kindle. And I haven't read it, but I told my son, I said, ooh, if there was one book I was going to ever read this year, it's going to be Will Smith's. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Because he's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can do whichever you want to do in life. You can be as successful as you want to be. You just have to work hard, and work hard, and then persevere. And that's what he did. You know, he earned the right to be respected as the GOAT, because that's what he is. He really is that. I mean, come on. The first rapper to win a Grammy and an Emmy within 4 years. Within a few years. Just a few short years. No one's done that before. No one in music has done that before in his genre. No one before him. Come on now. And y'all want to hate on this guy? I don't give a fuck about who he slept with. I don't give a fuck about his marriage. This marriage is between him and Jada anyway. You know, which really why they should both collectively should have kept it to themselves. You know? Notice who didn't do much of that. Ozzie Davis and Ruby Dee, who I kind of tried comparing with one time. Now I know not to, but that's another story. But their marriage was very sacred to them. All this stuff that they did was on screen. That was it. And left it there. You know. But my thing is that you have to respect Will for his work in the cinema and on television and on his records. That's what you respect him for. That's what you gotta give him credit for. Give him credit where credit due. You know, you worry about okay. If he wants to keep Jada, that's his business. If he wants to get rid of Jada, that's his business. That's not my business. That's not our business. That's his business. Well, when you come right down to it, seriously though, not my business about what him and his wife do. If he wants to stay with his wife for the rest of his life, that's his business. You know? I know what I would personally do. You know, but I'm saying, but otherwise, it ain't my business. I have no right to sit there and impose on his happiness. If he's happy with her, even though she probably make him miserable sometimes, that's on him. Not on me. Y'all have to understand that. You understand, Will is going to do Will, regardless of what you say. I gotta get over it. Will's going to do Will. And y'all have to understand that. And like I said, I respect this guy, regardless of what him and Jada going through in marriage, and regardless of what he wants to do in his marriage. That's his business. I could care less about that, personally. That ain't on me. It's not. Not at all. Some people read too much into it. Which, in a way, I agree. People do read too much into it. But I'm going to read it at face value, and then it's on his own. He's on his own. People worry about, he accepted, he will. Who cares? Apparently he don't. Let him do what he do. Let him be who he gonna be. Let him live the way he gonna live, the way he want to live. He's earned that right. He really has. I know I went through a family situation a couple years ago where people tried to dictate how I should run my family. And I'm like, no, you don't do that. You don't get to do that. You had family at one point. You separated from your family at one point. You don't get to dictate what anybody else do in theirs. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? For real. Because I've had people try me. I was like, well, but it wasn't nowhere near the situation of Will or Jada. But the thing of it is, people are going to try you. People are saying, well, this is what you should do, or that's what you should do. Don't worry about what you do. What Will and Jada do is between Will and Jada. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. You may not like it. I don't like it. But it ain't my business. You know what I'm saying? Mind your business is what they always say. And that's what people should do. At the end of the the day. But for the purpose of getting it off his chest, I do plan on reading his book. It's on sale on Amazon right now. I don't think it's sold out. It probably is. I know his book tour dates, some of them are sold out already. And he mentioned something about going to his website, willsmith.com, and you could buy his books. Which I didn't. I probably should have. What if I could have got an autographed copy of his book? Interesting. But nevertheless, my copy coming today. I will read some excerpts from it. I plan on it. That's how big of a fan I am of Will Smith. I really am. But we'll see. We'll see how good that book is. I'm anticipating it to be a great book because some stuff I already heard about it is interesting. He talked about his arrest. He talked about his extramarital affairs. He talked about his love for Stockard Channing, which I still haven't figured out really why, but that's another story. He said he was in love with her. He never actually said he had an affair with her. He said he was in love with her. See, it's the difference. You could be in love with a woman. I was in love with a lot of different women. But I didn't have an affair with them. Didn't physically get involved with them. But people say, oh, he was messing around. He didn't say he messed around with her. He said he was in love with her. There's a difference. Now, he did get involved with Jada. That's how he broke a guy got out of his first marriage. That's pretty well-known fact. Let's keep that 100. All the way. 100. So. Alright, guys. That's all I got. Of course, I have more in the podcast about this book as it comes out today. Tuesday, November 9th, 2021. Yes, it's officially on sale today at Amazon and other book retails across the country and across the world. He starts his book tour, I think, pretty soon. Maybe next week, from what I know. I don't know. I don't know exact date, but I know it's pretty soon. And I know he did say November. He definitely said November. I just watched the video about it this morning. So, good luck on your book tour, Mr. Will Smith. Love you, bro. Big fan of yours for damn near 40 years. Best of luck to you and your family. I'm out.